Running a little late this year, but I finally hit the weather I'm looking for to get my giant crimson tomatoes in the ground. It's been too hot, too cold, too dry. Didn't rain for 2.5, 3 weeks. Finally rained a little bit. It's been a little cool at night the past couple nights, but tonight we have temperatures in the high 50s at night with some rain and thunderstorms expected. And tomorrow we're looking at a high of 78 or so, and it's going to be relatively calm and cloudy. So these are perfect conditions to get these plants in the ground. I've been growing tomatoes since I was 6, 7 years old. I've always had great luck growing them, even with terrible soil conditions. As long as you fertilize them good, you're going to get giant plants, tons of tomatoes on them. So I want to show you my method of putting these in the ground. There's a few ways to do it, but this is going to be the simplest way. First thing you got to do is pick a decent location. This is going to be full sun here, and it's going to get a little bit of shade in the evening once the sun gets over those trees. But in the morning, midday, we're going to get a lot of sun over here. It's not blocked by these trees, and the tomatoes are going to love it. The soil does not look great, but don't let it fool you. A few weeks ago when I picked this location, I started adding some compost, some fertilizer, just mixing it in, taking a lot of these rocks I got in here out. This wasn't planted last year, and it was just overgrown with weeds, so it has taken a lot of effort to get it to where it is right now. But under the surface, this is not bad at all. I could plant these tomatoes directly into this dirt here, but I'm going to do an extra step just around my plants. I failed to mention as well, if you're a fisherman like me and you're doing pretty good on the lake and you got some tasty fish, take those carcasses and bury them in your garden. Just put another 5 in over there. I'm not planting anything over there, but in the long run, it's going to help the soil out. It's nice to go out, catch a lot of fish, clean the fish, eat the fish in the same day, and put the carcass in the ground. There's zero waste when you do that. You don't need the fish carcasses for this video, so don't worry. Let's look at the finished product real quick. This is one I did yesterday about 24 hours ago. Those wrinkled leaves were like that when I planted it. I took the one that looked the worst out of the 6 I'm going to do and put it in the ground, and it has not changed. And actually it looks a little better than it did. This one's super healthy, and I chose it because it's going to be perfect to show you an important step you need to do when you're planting your tomatoes. So here's my tomato location. I took a shovel, dug down to about 16 inches and kept flipping the dirt over and just chopping it up. And I did something very controversial that a lot of people advise against. I took potting soil and mixed it in. And as you can see, this is pretty fluffy right now. A couple rocks. Toss that over there. But this is good. I've done this for a lot of the plants I have out here now with the peppers, zucchinis, cucumbers, the loofahs, and I have not had any issues. And this potting soil really mixes good with this clay. It makes it nice, light and fluffy. Not something you need to do exactly unless you want to, but at least turn your soil and chop it up and break it up to give these tomatoes a nice healthy home. Also a good time to mix in a fertilizer of your choice if you choose to do so. This tomato is super excited to get into the ground, so we're going to dig our hole. We're going to get this tomato in the ground, but before we put it in the ground, there's one more very important step we're going to have to do. When you plant tomatoes, you need to bury the stem. Roots are going to come out of this stem, and it's going to give your tomato plant a nice strong root base to grow out of, because they are going to grow super tall. And even with these posts here to trellis them up, you got to have an elaborate root system to capture all those nutrients and to hold that bottom of that plant in place. But when you bury the stem, you do not want to bury the leaves. That's just inviting disease into your plant, and it's going to die. So we want to take these bottom branches and just crack them off. Could take this last guy off, but I'm gonna leave him on there. You can see this stem is nice and clear now, and it's ready to go in the ground. We're gonna plant it to about 1 inch below this branch. So I've dug my hole, and you can check your depth by just putting the plant inside. Got my 1 inch clearance from that branch. I like it. An extra step here that you don't have to do, but I'm gonna do. I have banana peel that I've broken into pieces. I'm gonna take these and just kind of jam them in the sides here. Some people will throw a whole peel in the bottom. I don't want anything interfering with my roots, so I'm just gonna jam them in the sides. This is gonna put potassium into the soil, which the tomatoes are gonna like. Another optional step, courtesy of the awesome chickens, I got some eggshells. I'm just gonna break them up into the bottom of this hole. And I'm gonna put a little dirt on as well. This is gonna help your roots out. Tomato plant's ready to go. Break the roots up a little bit, gently, and down into the hole. And then I'm gonna take the dirt and cover up the plant. And look at that. 1 inch to this branch. Got a lot of the stem in the ground. Looks good. And as always, give her a little drink. Get them roots nice and wet so they can spread out. And the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of these dry grass clippings laying around the yard and just spread it lightly around the plant. Not all the way up to the stem. Still going to leave some room around it, but we're going to cover the outsides pretty good. Just like that. Now this grass is going to help keep moisture in for this tomato because they love having moisture in the soil. And when this breaks down in a few weeks, it's going to release nitrogen into the soil, which tomatoes also love. And another bonus to this is if this branch does decide to sag and lay down, it's going to land on the grass and not on the soil. This has worked really good for a lot of my zucchinis and cucumbers that had leaves touching the ground. Can you put the dirt in the tomato?
And plant it, go up, it goes up.
It really is that simple. If you've been thinking about growing tomatoes, go out. There's plenty of them on the store shelves right now, and you still have plenty of time into July to try planting tomatoes. Like always, I hope this video helped someone out. If you tried this and later in the season you have a great harvest, come back, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for future gardening videos with Fast Gardening Michigan.